Okay, welcome to the eighth episode of Pearls of Wisdom on the Psychology of Emerging Adulthood Research Lab's YouTube channel. We're joined today by a master student in Pearl, Sasha Shifrin. Sasha, I've learned that you go by many names. Is that right?
I get this question all the time. So officially, my name is Alexandra. It's on my birth certificate, on my identification. But for some reason, my parents decided to raise me as Sasha. So it's kind of like a European thing where like Sasha is a short version of Alexandra. And I always get this question, but like in like the English speaking languages, everyone's like I don't understand where the connection is. I don't either. But I go by Sasha, but I will respond to Alexandra, not
Okay,
Alex.
and it's
I will not respond to Alex.
and Sasha, not Sasha.
Oh, no. I will accept both.
Okay, good. Phew. I think that takes care of some of the names that I have. Anyway, yes, thank you. Um, so Sasha, tell me how you first became interested in joining Pearl.
Yeah, so I guess I've always been interested in getting into clinical psychology. Back when I was an undergrad, I did a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and I did a lot of work looking at drinking amongst university students and the research lab I was working at. And so that's kind of always just been my general interest. And I think with like the recent years, with like cannabis becoming legal in Canada, and also just noticing that cannabis use is actually like the highest among emerging adults, I became more interested in that sort of behavior and kind of looking at why that might be and how it impacts the lives of emerging adults. So when I saw Dr. Goldstein does this kind of work, I thought, wow, like our research interests really align. And so I applied to her, and here I am.
Here you are.
Mhm.
And Sasha, you are an emerging adult, is that right?
I am, yes. Hey,
Okay.
I think so, right? I'm 26. I just revealed my age, but like I'm pretty sure the cutoff is either 25 to 29. So I think I'm like somewhere in there, right?
Depends who you ask, but you definitely fit the 18 to 29 categorization of emerging adults.
Still in? Yeah, I
Yeah.
still feel like one, so it fits.
Okay. So tell me how you feel like an emerging adult.
I would say that like just comparing, there's a lot of comparison with myself and where I'm at in my life versus a lot of my friends who are also emerging adults and where they're at in their lives. So it's like everywhere between being a student, still living with your parents, all the way to friends getting married, having babies, and, like, I find myself in the area of being a student, so seeing my friends, like, putting down payments on houses and working, like, 9 to 5 jobs, I've always just been kind of like, "Wow," like, I'm so behind everyone, but I guess in more recent years, knowing that, like, this is such a normal thing to go through as an emerging adult, like, we're at a time where anyone between the ages of like 18 to 29, we're all in this like transitional period together. And so it's actually so normal to be like 26 and not still live with your parents, still maybe not have a adult career, and not even being on track to having like a house and babies and all this stuff. So that's kind of where I feel it the most for sure.
Feeling in between.
Exactly. To summarize all of that. Yes.
I think that's one of the secret powers of studying emerging adulthood is that once you start reading about it, you start to realize that all of these experiences, which feel so independent or they really feel like yours, and they are in their specificity, are actually shared by so many people between the ages 18 and 25 or 18 and 29.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're so right.
You're not alone.
Feels good to not be alone.
So tell me a little bit about your research in the lab.
Sure. So, specifically for my master's thesis, I'm looking at cannabis use among emerging adults. And specifically, what I'm interested in is looking to see whether emotion regulation and coping motives impact the consequences that emerging adults might experience as they're using cannabis. I guess just to give you a little more detail on that. So, I'm curious to see whether emerging adults who generally have a difficult time regulating their emotions may be more likely to use cannabis to cope with with those difficult emotions, and then whether this results in experiencing more problems related to their use, whether it's in academics, social, personal, interpersonal, in those areas.
Interesting. Any tidbits or interesting findings you've encountered so far?
Well, the findings are still in process, but I can confidently say that we are seeing that emerging adults who do have difficulty regulating their emotions, they are the ones who are experiencing more consequences in general, as well as emerging adults who use cannabis to cope. So that is something we know for sure. It'll be interesting though to see when we put everything together, does that still contribute to the consequences that they experience?
And how's the thesis writing or analysis part going for you?
It's definitely been a work in progress. Being a master's student, we're so busy with like clinical work and courses and other commitments that sometimes thesis gets put on the back burner and you kind of forget about it for a couple months. And then that's definitely happened to me, I think, as I'm wrapping up my clinical practicum. I've been kind of ignoring my thesis, but I'm thinking now that it's summer, I'm going to sit down and just finish it off, and hopefully it'll be good to go sooner rather than later. So I guess the answer to your question is it's a progress for sure.
Any tips you can share about getting right back to it and finishing it off that help you?
I guess for me personally, I am someone who needs to like block off a bigger chunk of time to just sit down and like write everything. Whereas I know some people might just like do 5 minutes a day, like a day or 10 minutes or in between clients, which for me, like I need at least like 15 minutes to like get started and open all my tabs and get familiarized with everything. So I guess just kind of finding what works best for you. I know not one strategy will work for everyone. For me, it's sitting down and having like a thesis writing boot camp for like a day and just like not do anything else. But for some people, it might be just taking like 30 minutes of their day to do so.
Clearing your schedule so you can dive in
Exactly.
and trying to handle all the tabs.
The tabs are endless.
There's so many tabs. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So COVID now. So
Okay.
I'm going to just go back for a second and ask you a little bit how you're coping with COVID, which continues to be a major issue in the province of Ontario.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess being a student, like it's kind of easy to forget that all of this is happening because you're so immersed in like various tasks, whether it's meetings and projects and clinical work and everything. So for me, I sometimes think I'm kind of lucky where I can like just zone out and just focus on my work all the time and kind of like not, I guess, think about, oh, like I don't have free time to see my friends. I can't do anything else. So for me, it's been kind of a little easier to forget, to ignore reality in its own way because I'm so focused on other things. But
Hmm.
I guess, but then that in itself can be really, I guess, not the best either because you want to have that balance between work and life. And it's been difficult to, I guess, not have the opportunity to see friends and go out and enjoy dining in a restaurant normally, or I don't even remember what that feels like anymore. So that
Me
part, I guess,
neither.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's hard, but I think you spoke to an important strategy, which is trying to balance activities you can engage in right now, ones that do take your focus and feel good, like you're accomplishing something,
absolutely.
um, but also trying to balance that with the losses of this time for sure.
Mhm, mhm, for sure.
Okay, let's switch over to the rapid fire portion of the interview. Are you ready?
No, but let's do it anyway.
All right. What was the first concert you attended?
I was in grade 9. It was a heavy metal concert. It was called Uproar. We saw the headliners, I think, were Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed.
Wow. Okay. What is your favorite restaurant in Toronto?
Oh my goodness. I would say right now I can't even pick one, but I'm just gonna say Sarah,
Okay. If I didn't have blank, I don't know how I'd get through the day.
my computer.
I am grateful for
Ah, so many things. My loved ones.
astrology is.
Very interesting. I love it.
What's your sign?
Pisces.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
If you hadn't gone to the OISE program, what would you be doing right now?
Mm, that's a good one. Either I feel like I'd go into something like nutrition related, or I'll be a food blogger.
So, not heavy metal.
No, I don't think that's my calling.
Who would you cast to play you in a movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I'm gonna pick Shakira. We kind of have curly hair, the same thing, and she has a good voice that I aspire to have.
If you could change your name, would you?
I would make it Sasha.
Officially.
Officially. None of this Alexandra Sasha going back and forth.
And what was your first job?
My very first job was working at Marble Slab, which is like an ice cream shop.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sasha, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for participating in this interview. For everyone watching, please hit like, please subscribe, and please check out our Instagram and other social media accounts, all in the paragraph below this video. Sasha, thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having me.